Here we go.
Beyond prime time, beyond pay-per-view.
Hello everyone and welcome to Lexicon's Reviews. I'm Lexicon and today we have a review for TNA Impact on the PS3.
Beyond prime time, beyond pay-per-view. For the first time, all of your favorite TNA superstars with all their signature moves. When you want it, where you want it, and you're in complete control.
And that's a good place to start with TNA Impact, the controls. These are the easiest yet hardest controls to master. Doing simple grapples are easy, but it will take you some time to get used to the advanced controls. Impact boasts some phenomenal moves. Punches and kicks are a little awkward, and you do miss a lot when you're trying to initiate grapples with your opponent. As far as gameplay goes, Impact both hits and misses. There are no rope breaks, countouts, or DQs. Chairs are laying conveniently around the ring for use, and there are no reversals for the chairs. So, if you get swung at, run. The submission system is interesting. When a submission is applied, 3 face buttons will pop up for each player. The player who punches in the combination the fastest wins, and that determines whether you tighten the hold or escape. The biggest flaw with the gameplay is kicking out of pins. In order to kick out of a pin, you must wiggle the joystick until you fill up the pin meter before the referee counts 3. This is extremely hard to do, and I only kicked out of 1 pin in 20 matches I had. So your best bet for winning is just to not get pinned. Because if you do, it's more than likely over for you. The match types are somewhat limited. You have your usual one-on-one, tag team, falls count anywhere, and triple threat match. But the big attraction is the Ultimate X match. Midway made this pretty enjoyable, and you can also have a lot of fun with it with a lot of players. Kicking a guy off the cables doesn't get old, but I'll tell you what does get old. Don West screaming at me. Real old. The characters are limited too. There are only about 30 characters in the whole game. Midway promises downloadable content in the future, but we'll have to wait for that. About 10 of the characters are locked right away, and unless you play through the season mode, it doesn't make any sense why these characters are the ones that are locked. For example, Bubba Ray, or Brother Ray in TNA. You can add some characters of your own with the Create a Wrestler mode. However, don't expect to create a bunch of WWE wrestlers, because all of the items for your character are preset items. Story mode is the center of this game, and I must admit that it's one of the best I've seen in a wrestling game ever. The story is a little wacky, but interesting. You play as Suicide, a masked wrestler who has just won the championship belt. However, since you decided not to listen to LAX when they tell you to lose the match, you get your ass kicked and dropped off in a little town called Tijuana, Mexico. There you get your character plastic surgery, and he begins his wrestling career all over. It is here where you find your creative player can run through the season mode and unlock characters. But once you complete that first run through, there is no reason to go back and play it again, since it's the same thing all over. This was a short review for one reason. TNA Impact doesn't have much depth. Midway has been developing this game for over 2 years now, and Impact should have been better than this. It's shallow, feels way too arcadey and archaic, and lacks any reason for me to play this more than a week besides downloadable content, but that only goes so far. I am comparing this to SmackDown vs. Raw, because that is the standard for 3D wrestling game nowadays. If TNA gets a second iteration, I hope that they can make it feel a little more real, since they did boast realism leading up to the game's release. The final verdict on this one is rent it. TNA fans will love this game. It has the same high-octane action as the real TNA product does, just turned up 5 notches. But wait, there's more. There's a new feature to Lexicon's Reviews starting with TNA Impact, and it's called the Impact Rating. The Impact Rating will be a number score for the overall game. I give TNA Impact 6.5 out of 10. I didn't completely hate it, but it's no masterpiece.